Good morning, everyone. So, I'm feeling Transformers today. Literally, actually, I've got my new Fans Toys. Uh, I'm blanking on his name now. Stunticon. Dragstrip. Thank you. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about Dragstrip. I want to talk about the amazing Optimus Prime that was just like blasted out yesterday. Was all over the posts. Kevin Smith and Jay, what's his name? Actually, I can't remember that guy's actual name for some reason right now. I'm spacing. Didn't have a great night's sleep, but they did a video on it, plugging it, showing it, demonstrating it. There's a few videos out there, so you can just, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can just Google self-transforming Optimus Prime Hasbro, and you'll see it pretty quickly. And I'm just astounded at what they've been able to do with it, because I mean, I've seen this particular figure being developed over the past 2 years, maybe even a little longer, and it was really cool just for it to be able to self-transform. 2 years ago, it could only transform from truck to robot. It could walk, and the truck, when it was in truck mode, could move back and forth. They've also developed a Constructicon, and I think one or two others. But this one, I mean, they've definitely they got Hasbro's license. They got Peter Cullen's voice. They actually paid him to do that. That's amazing. And then the amount of intelligence that they were able to cram into this thing is just unreal. It's just so cool. So not only being able to have so many different Optimus Prime stuff out there, but Optimus Prime voices and things for him to be able to say, pre-recorded or whatever. But the fact that he moves, and even just his, like, just standing there, he still is moving. How many pieces and rotors and just the sheer, it's a robot. It's an actual robot. And that is just super exciting to me. So the big uproar, of course, is the price point. So $700 is how much it costs to pre-order, and with not including tax. So for us in Washington, it's about $760, all said and done. You do get free shipping at least. But there's been just a lot of like uproar and balking at that $700 price point, and I get it. $700 is a lot of money for anything. I think on a collector scale anyway, that's quite a bit of change of disposable income that people supposedly do or do not have. I certainly don't have that readily available, but that kind of technology, that kind of coolness factor. I mean, I think robots of that complexity in this sort of toy have been going for at least, like, I don't know, $2 to $3 grand. I want to say. I have to look it up, but it's the amount of things that, plus it's 19 inches tall. I mean, that's a pretty good sizable. Um, I don't have a figure nearby that is nearly what that is, but there's a pretty common standard Constructicon Devastator that's a third party called Constructor. It was created by Toy World, and it stands around 20 inches high or so. And so that's been kind of the standard uh, scale or height for masterpiece combiners and whatnot. And this Optimus Prime is 19 inches, so it's nearly the size of that thing. Um, and and it comes with an app. Like you can get the app, and then you can program it to do other moves. You can customize the moves yourselves. I don't know. $700 seems like a steal. Now compare that to the Unicron that they released last year, or that they crowdfunded last year. Unicron was the biggest Transformer, official Transformer ever created, and I think it might still be just in general that actually transforms. And so something like 38 inches in diameter. I think that includes the rings. But this massive world eater planet thing, it comes with its own stand, and it's 16 pounds. So that went for $600 the um, on the crowdfunding at Hasbro Pulse, and it was cool. I mean, it's cool. And you can actually transform the thing while it's still on the stand, which I appreciate that they engineered it that way, because 16 pounds is a lot to be flipping around and things like that. So, and while Unicron is super cool, and it makes sense that he needs to be big, I just have no place for that in my collection. I don't have any room. That thing's a monster, literally. And so it's cool, but I mean, the boxes, you should Google it. You should see, there's tons of unboxing videos out there for Unicron. It's pretty impressive. In fact, there's a couple of reviews out there. You should check out MGO. He's got a pretty fun review of this Unicron. But Unicron went for, as I said, $600, including shipping, not including tax. And in this Optimus Prime, much like the Unicron, you had to pre-order, and so they only allow, like, you have to pay in full up front, and it looks like they only take credit cards. And so, like, that's kind of a bummer. Like, you can't take advantage of PayPal's special financing or whatever. I don't know if you use the PayPal credit or debit thingy, I don't know if that would get the special financing or not. But anyway, the point is it's a lot of money to shell up front for something that you have to wait quite a while for. The August release for this Optimus Prime sold out in a day. I mean, I was less than a day. I found about it yesterday morning, and by the time I went to bed last night, it was sold out. Like, yeah. So we're like, oh. And I was kicking myself for just not trying really to. The $760 is a lot. It is a lot. It's worth it, but it's still a lot of money. But this morning I found out that they've got an October release now, still going for the same price. So I think that's cool, and I hope that they continue at least doing a couple of more runs like that. So it's like, okay, well, that release ran out, but we'll still do a few more. I mean, they'd be stupid not to, because the demand is there. Sell them. But the thing that I'm afraid of is what happened with the Unicron, and that is, all of that release is gone. They've delivered. Shipments have gone out. People are receiving them, and now the demand for people now going, oh, that is cool. I want one. Pre-orders at retailers now are going for over $1,200. It was $600 on the crowdfunding, and now it's double, more than double. Are you kidding me? There's no way I'm going to pay that ever for a figure like that. No. And so my fear is that if you wait too long, the weight tax on this Optimus Prime easily could reach $2,000, to get to that $2,000 to $3,000 level in a year or two, when it's just super hard to find. It's a special release, so I think that if it's that worth it to you, you should definitely try and figure out a way to come up with that and get it. But I don't know. I mean, the flip side of that is, will it do so well that they expand it and it can bring the price point down even further because of the demand? I don't know. I mean, because of how well it sells and stuff. The supply is small. The demand is pretty good. I think that they priced it at a pretty sweet spot. Honestly, it's gonna hedge out a lot of people, but it's gonna get the serious collectors. Yeah, I don't know. Very, very cool. Very interesting. Wish I had that kind of money just lying around. But I really hope we get to see more of this kind of thing. There is a kind of pleasure in transforming the figures themselves, because they're a puzzle box. That's why I love these things. They're a puzzle box for grown-ups and stuff. Well, it doesn't have to be for grown-ups, but for me. And so this was like a remote control automated, you don't fiddle with it, it transforms itself. But it's almost like, you're 7 years old again, and the cartoon is right there in front of you in live action. That's cool. I want one. If I can afford one, it's awesome. Check it out. It's at the very least really fun to look at and dream about and think about. And particularly if you were a Transformers nut like myself. But yeah, they have another one that they released a couple of days ago for like an announcement teaser, is where they're going to release the Ark. So the big Autobot ship that gets crashed into the mountain. They're making that, and it transforms into a robot now. And what's really kind of cool, the more I looked at it, I was like, I don't know. It's from the Transformers Kingdom line, War for Cybertron. I haven't really been excited about that line in the first place. It's just not the kind of thing that I collect, but that looks pretty cool. And it also is going to come with a Teletran 1, the computer that transforms into a robot, and then also transforms into like a piece that goes into the big robot's chest. And then the big robot's design I thought was very clever. They designed it after, I think, a storyline called the Last Autobot. And so the design of that particular character is definitely being seen in the arc. Uh, and the face of the robot is basically an Autobot symbol, which is I thought was really fun. So anyway, kind of some cool stuff going on. Not the greatest timing for me to be able to jump on the bandwagon, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about because, frankly, again, $700 for that thing, I don't think is too much to ask. I think it's awesome. I think that that's a reasonable price. Anybody who thinks it ought to be $300 or whatever is, I don't know. They have no idea what goes into this kind of thing. I mean, this thing's been in development for years. Who's gonna, how do you pay for that? You got to pay for it through sales, and um, get in on it now before it inflates massive. Um, but on the other hand, will they be able to make them smaller and more affordable and do more of them in the line? I don't know. Um, they're pretty basic looking in design, so it still hits that G1 aesthetic, but yeah, that's all I got to say about it. Thank you for tuning in. I love it. Yes, Will Cook, till all are one. Exactly. And with that, I will sign off. Till all are one. Have a good weekend.